What's going on, people? It's your man, the YB, back once again. Big shout out to my doggy Davey Productions for coming through and boosting up the coin. 100%, no doubt about it. So, you've seen the title. This right here is a message to Dave Allen. Yeah, we could get bumped. Paddy Power apparently paid out on it as well, by the way. So, I'm not putting an ad for them, but honestly, if I see the odds are good on Paddy Power, I'm going there. Yeah, Paddy Power. I got in at 10-1 on Betfred, and got bumped. But if you put a tenner at 10-1 on Paddy Power, they paid out. And I believe Paddy Power also, they didn't pay out, but they refunded bets on Catterall versus Taylor 1. So, here's what it is, folks. That's how it should be, though, man. Yeah, the fan should decide who won what, right? It should be a fan thing, because the judges are crap anyway. The winner should be who puts the most votes in. Then again, I guess you'd have all the people would be shilling their base, they'd be shilling their book, they'd be shilling their betting slips. So I don't know what the answer is. Put me in charge, I'll tell you exactly what happened. How about that? I'll decide who gets refunds. I wouldn't even do it for myself either. If I lost it, I'd tell you I lost, man, straight up. Maybe I would, maybe I wouldn't. Taylor Catterall won. I won that one, but I was happy to win. I put way too much money on. I think I had about $2,000 on at the time. Catterall versus Taylor one, that would have been a bad loss. So I guess, listen, I can't complain. I've had some close scratches. And Dubois versus Lorena, I had $2,000 on it. What was it? It was crazy. I was like 1-10. So you put a $2,000 on, you get 10% back, so £200 profit. And that almost went left as well. So I've had a few near misses, and I got bumped a few times as well. I had $1,000 on Tyson Fury to beat Chisora with one knockdown. Oops, got bumpled. So anyway, a message to Dave Allen. He's put some videos out. I mean, if you've heard my comments on Dave Allen and Johnny Fisher in the last week, it's not going to be massively different. But the point is, this guy needs to get in the gym like Usyk. Yeah? You're not Usyk. You don't have 100 mil in the bank. And even if Usyk does have 100 mil in the bank, he's still training. There's a video on his TikTok. I did a video on it. He's back in the gym day after. AJ's reported he was back in the swimming pool after their fight on the next day on the Sunday. It's a mentality. It's not, you have one good performance and it's like, I've made it. Dave here says, I feel like myself again now. You have to run with that momentum. The longer you sit on the couch, you just lose the fitness and it becomes hard work again. The hardest thing to do is to be fit and then to be unfit and then to be fit again. Why do that? Just stay fit year round. Stay in the gym year round. You don't have to be caning it in a full fight camp training twice a day. Just one session. What else? They've been working, man. What else you doing? The kids will be at school probably, and if they're not, maybe they're not. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe his missus works and he's with the kids. I don't know. But when she gets back at 6 o'clock, you got to go to the gym, man. You could set your family up properly. So whether you spend the next year or two, it's only going to be 2 years realistically. Dave's only got 2 or 3 years left. So whether you have to sacrifice the next 2 or 3 years to give them a better life in the long term, that's what you've got to do. That's your responsibility at this point. You've had too many chances. You've thrown too many things away. Don't be doing this, repeating the same cycle. Before this fight, you said, they gave me 12 weeks. After this fight, you said, I'm still not fit enough. Get back in the gym then. If you feel like you're not fit and you haven't reached your peak yet, and you haven't reached your peak. Honestly, you need about 2 years, day in, day out. Obviously, you have Sunday off or whatever, but training 5 or 6 times a week for 2 years on the trot, that's when you really get fit. You never get, I don't care what any of these boxers say, you'll never reach true fitness. In no other sport do they do it, where they have like a 12-week camp and then 3 months off doing nothing but eating. You'll be constantly basically having fat camps. You get fitter than you was, but you're not leveling up your aerobic base or your anaerobic. You're not changing. You're not making no physiological changes. You're constantly just ticking along, diving down when you're not training and getting back to par. You're not pushing the barrier and getting fitter and getting stronger, which is what a lot of boxers do. They're in the gym year round. Even Kell Brook, apparently, he'd be having fat camps, just bulking, dirty bulking as well, not training. So a lot of these fighters, you don't really see their true. Tyson Fury is the same. You don't really see their true peak because they ain't in the gym. Billy Joe, the same situation. They're not in the gym. Oh, I hate fighting when I don't have a date. Oh, I can't concentrate when I haven't got a date. What are you, 4 years old? Get in the gym and get to work. Everyone else got to work, right? I'm not in the mood for work every day, or at all, to be honest, right? Yeah, I'm not in the mood. I'm not concentrating. I can't get focused. You got to go, is the point. And you've only got to do 2 hours, really. You can get, not even 2 hours, to be honest. If you came in and caned an hour, yeah, getting your heart rate up to 180 consistently over an hour, that makes sense. I don't know, doing 1 minute on, cane in the bag and 1 minute off for a full hour, 30 minutes of high intensity, that's going to get you better than a lot of cats as well. Conor McGregor, he'd go to the gym, yeah, and he'd be like, oh, I've been in the gym 8 hours. But if you're just milling about, having a chat, doing half a round and chatting, and I went to a boxing gym a little while ago, and you can be there a long time and not really do much. You're putting your shoes on, you know what I mean? Before you know it, you've been there 2 hours. You haven't actually done 2 hours of training, though. The fact you left at 10 and got back at 1 don't mean, oh, I got 3 hours in the bank. No, it don't. It only counts what you're actually working, if that makes sense. Dave must know this. I'm not trying to preach to people who are obviously more experienced than me. But you're unfit still. Yeah? I never got to these man's level, but I was a serious level in a sport, in swimming. I knew when I was fit and when I was not fit, real fit as well. I'm talking back to back for 8 months straight. And then even after 8 months of back to back, 10 times a week, with Sundays off. Double Monday, double Tuesday, Wednesday morning, double Thursday, double Friday, Saturday morning, 10 sessions a week. Plus you got S&C as well, all the weightlifting bullshit, essentially. On top of that. And I was going to college at the time and university and whatnot and school. You do 8 months on and then maybe a week or 2 off and you're back at it again. Over many years you get faster. And that's how I know these boxing men, they can't be reaching their peak. Because in athletics or swimming or loads of other sports, you're in there year-round gains is when you actually get quicker and get stronger. You don't, 3 months on, 3 months off. If you tried swimming, doing 3 months on and 3 months off, you wouldn't do nothing, never. That's a fact. Not one swimmer can do 3 months on, 3 months off. You never get nowhere close. Nowhere close you get. I've never had 3 months off when I was serious in my career. Going for the Olympics. Never. I didn't even have a month off. At the most it was 2 weeks. In between years. Christmas. Maybe a few days off. So I know these men ain't really locked in like that. And yes, boxing's different because you're taking physical damage. In the off season, you don't need to be getting whacked up by sparring partners. But bag work, skipping, light sparring, body sparring, keep your bones strong, keep your hand bones strong, etc, etc. There's no excuse not to be doing body sparring, is there? Oops. Year round. Yeah? I don't understand what the professional men are doing. You ain't working, right? So what are you doing all day, Dave? What are you doing, man? I don't understand what he's... And Dave obviously says, oh, well, I'm managing fighters now and I'm doing this. Okay, whatever. As much managing you might be doing. Managing, let me tell you this now, people. Managing fighters or managing anything really, you're sending emails and talking on Skype. Let's call a spade here. It's not that intensive. Certainly not as an athlete. If you're managing boxers, you're at the gym anyway, Dave said. So get your ass on, bring your gear with you when you go down to the gym, and at the end of the day, or midway through the day, or at lunchtime, or in the beginning, get in there and do an hour every day. You're there. Why not? You're an athlete, as well as a manager. It's not, oh, a lot of these dudes are like single-minded. Well, I've had my fight now. Now I'm in manager mode, so all I can think about is this. Is managing. You here thinks Dave's sitting there caning a laptop for 8 hours. Managing. No. He'd probably spend about half an hour in total sending a few emails at best. Right? His name ain't Eddie Hearn. He's not flying around halfway across the world every day. And even then, Eddie Hearn finds some time to train. But Eddie Hearn's like probably one of the more stressful managers, promoters. He's in the States, he's in here, he's everywhere. You, Dave, sitting at home, got no excuse. I don't ever want to hear again that, oh, well, they called me on 5 weeks. Oh, well, I got off the couch, and Dom Ingles said Dave's notorious for having really shocking camps. Like Dom Ingles said, oh, I was surprised he even got there or got to round 5 kind of thing, or whatever it was. Those kind of bars Dom Ingle was saying. Because he literally would get off the couch and just turn up for 2 weeks of work. It's a bad attitude. And you've been given an opportunity now. Yes, you've earned it to some extent, or after the Fisher fight. But that really, I don't think that was... You was goosed. You said yourself, you was goosed. Yeah? And there's no way you weren't that active to be that tired. Yes, you had one spurt in round 5. But you shouldn't have been that tired. And that tells me you really aren't fit, if I'm honest. Because there's bigger heavyweights than you that do more and don't get as gassed. Even Fury, to be fair to him. The big lump he is, who's lazy as well. He was fitter than you. He went 12 rounds with Usyk and did okay. Even if we say he lost by 2 rounds. He still won 4. Yeah? Fury was fitter than Dave Allen is. And that's really... If you have to sit there and say Tyson Fury is probably fitter than me, that's not a good look, man. That's not a good look. Dave should be 240, 245, not 257. And it's not just about the weight. Coming in skinny because you haven't eaten but you're not training doesn't really make a difference. You need to train the weight off. I'm so supremely fit. I'm burning so many calories working in the gym. I'm 245. Not, oh well, I've sat on the couch but I've changed my diet so now I'm leaner but I ain't done a bean of training. You'll still be gassed after a few rounds. Yeah? Take this springboard now and run with it. Run with it, Dave. Run with it. There's nothing else to be done here. You've got no stress now. You've proved to yourself, you proved to your dad or whatever. Apparently his dad and his granddad, when he quit against Fraser Clark, they wouldn't talk to him. So you've proven something now. You've got a springboard. I don't want to see this for you. It doesn't make a difference to me, but I don't want to see this for you. You sitting there 2 years from now. We've heard it before as well. I got bumped once on him. Who was it with? I think it was David Price. He was saying, yeah, I'm doing David Price. And he got in there and shit himself. It was crap. Well, I only turned up 2 weeks before. Don't want to hear that no more, Dave. You got kids to feed now. You got kids to feed. You need to be serious. And you got no excuse not to be serious. You got the perfect springboard now. You're confident. You know you can do it. Run with it. Don't say, I've made it now. I knew I could do it. Now I can keep doing what I've always done. That's whack. And you'll come unstuck. Because Johnny Fisher, to be fair to him, is a bit like AJ. He's no good, can't box for toffee, but I do believe Johnny Fisher's in the gym really trying. He's no good, but he's really trying. And what will happen is, I believe in the rematch, if you ain't really locked in, from what I saw in them first 3 rounds, Johnny Fisher will come in on his P's and Q's. And he'll keep it long, slap, and get out of the way. You're going to have to come to really eat. Walk him down and put your hands together. Consistently, like Canelo. You can't just stand there as a heavy bag, because you might just get pieced up. That makes sense. That's a possibility. Johnny Fisher, because of the hype, he put way too much energy into the first few rounds. He won't do that again, I wouldn't have thought. He'll be much more respectful, and he might just end up being able to string out rounds 2 and 3 for a lot longer. Yeah? To some extent, you got lucky with Fisher in as much as he didn't know what the pro game was about. But once people know what the pro game's about, the distance, it changes their attitude towards the game. Now, Johnny Fisher might come running out and try and smack you again. Great if he does. But if he doesn't, you need to be ready to give him the work. Because you didn't really give him the work, if I'm honest, even throughout the 10 rounds. It was the fact Johnny Fisher sucked so bad that made you look good. You weren't actually whacking him up. You kept doing this thing with your left hook. Or sorry, instead of left hooking, you'd put your left... I don't know, maybe it's an old school trick. I'm not the most experienced. I don't know. But instead of drilling that left hook into him, you'd put your arm on his neck. I couldn't understand that. You kept putting your arm on his neck. Dig the shot in, man. What are you doing that for? They would pick his arm up as if he's throwing a hook and just rest it on his neck rather than just having a go with it. I couldn't understand that at all. What's that fight back? It's really weird. Dig it in. Have a go. Your hands, you were throwing more hands than you normally do. Dave's big criticism's been he don't throw his hands, and he ends up being like a tight heavy bag as such. A solid defense, chin down heavy bag. You threw your hands more, but not enough consistently. Because I believe you weren't fit. Your hands need to be going consistently round after round. You can't also let him get 3 rounds off on you. You can keep it tight, but you need to get him to feel something. Don't give 3 rounds for free. At least win one of them in there. On principle. Anyway, let's get to the bars. I've waffled on, but he had some comments I want to pick up on.
Well, in anything, the last 8 years were the 22nd. No, the 23rd, sorry, 23rd. Because people said, oh, look at Dave Allen. I seen an Eddie Hearn interview saying, no, Ed messaged me after the fight. And I spoke to Sam Jones as well. And it looked like the rematch would happen. But as I said to them both, and as I said to Johnny Fisher, the ball's in their court. It's up to them. I love the rematch. I'd rather watch Johnny Fisher than whoever.
So you heard them bars there. Essentially, Dave's taking the back seat. I don't know, Johnny. Maybe he's that good. Yeah? Maybe he's that much of a good person. This is the business game now, Dave. Yeah? You've had a whole bunch of brain cells punched out of you from AJ. You've had a whole bunch of brain cells punched out of you. This is your time now. If you want to become Mahatma Gandhi and sit there saying, oh, I don't want to push for this fight, I've told them it's up to them. You've already heard Johnny Fisher. There's mixed messages. Johnny said, oh, we can do it. Actually, I might have a warm-up fight in between. So if you want to get punked and be sat on the couch, that's what they're planning for, Dave. They're planning to sit you down on the couch knowing what you're like when you don't have a date. Yeah? They're thinking, you know what? We'll have a warm-up. We'll stay in the gym. Let Dave cool down for a year and we'll pull up and catch him on surprise. That's what they want to do, I believe. Yeah? Catch you slipping. So it's up to you. You can sit there cucked and say, oh, I like Johnny. He's a good man. This is the fight game, though. Good man or not, he wanted it. And you best believe, Dave, if he'd have knocked your head off in 4 rounds, or 2 rounds or whatever, see you later, Dave. Johnny Bash. And yes, Johnny might have been humble as such and said, oh, Dave, I really respect you. But he'd have been on with his career. And you'd have been punched up. Like Alan the Cabbage Babbage. What favours has Johnny Fisher done for Alan the Cabbage Babbage? None, and he shouldn't. He doesn't have to. It's sport. The Cabbage Babbage is no good. But the point I'm making is, if he could have used your body as a vessel for his own greatness, he'd have taken it. Now it's your turn to use his body as a vessel. And how you do that is, I want the rematch, and I'm calling for it. Johnny, you shit yourself if you don't take the rematch. Simple as that. Simple message. Johnny, I like you, but if you don't take this rematch, you shit your pants because I punched you up. Yeah, that's exactly what happened as well. You're not lying. You're not making stories up. If you don't take this, Mr. 10-1 favourite, you have shit your pants. Bottom line, you duck me. No warm-up fights. You come straight back in there. Yeah? Something to that effect. And you leave it out there. At least then you can say, I've done everything. I've told the truth. Sitting there giving him a way out, well, I don't want to pressure Johnny and it's up to him. I've told him it's up to him. Don't do that. Because you really want to pay for it at some point. Whether they catch you off guard with 5 weeks notice, or whether they have 2 years and he gets better. It's not your job to build him. It's your job to make money and worry about yourself. If you want to be a builder for Johnny and let him have 2 years to rebuild, and you're old and you're out of shape and you've lost your form because you've been out the ring or whatever else, then do that. You keep being Mahatma Gandhi. Oh, Johnny's a good man. It's the fight game. It's your obligation. It's honourable. Yeah? It's honourable. If he can't hack it in this game and you have to punch him up again, that's honourable. You give him a warrior's death in doing so. In fact, Dave should look at it this way. He should listen. I brought Johnny into the game from rugby and I'll take him out. Yeah? That's the issue. You should want to do that for him. If that's the way it goes. If he's not good enough in this game that I introduced him to, I'll take him out of it. And if he is good enough and he punches me up, great. Those are the bars. Those are the bars you have to put out there. Yeah? Those are the bars, Dave. Stop dropping it. Stop. You know Eddie Hearn's. You know what Eddie Hearn's like. Eddie Hearn's like, yeah, Dave, don't take the Dubois fight. Don't take it, Dave. We're going to get you a better shot. We haven't seen Dave since. And Dave has said since that, oh, I would have taken a Dubois fight for the amount of money. I think they're offering him 300 grand or something. So Eddie's not your friend. Yes, it's about Johnny, but it's also about Eddie as well. If Eddie can pull a move on you, he's going to pull the move. He don't give a about you like that. Or anyone, to be honest. You're not Anthony Joshua, where there's heat truckloads of cash coming in. You're essentially just a vessel. Yeah? He got you in there with Luis Ortiz on 5 weeks' notice. This ain't someone who really cares for you like that. That met his ends. So, yeah, Johnny might be a cool dude. Who's going to pay your bills, Dave? It's not going to be Eddie, is it? It's not going to be Johnny either. And this is the opportunity you've made for. You've earned this. You've earned the rematch, to be honest. You're talking I hate to say it, but Dave's talking himself out of the rematch. No, it's up to them, and if he's not ready, what's that doing for you, though? And Dave goes on to say, oh, well, they'll put me in with someone else. Who are putting you in with? Fabio Wardley. To go in and knock your head off, probably. I wouldn't mind seeing it, but it's not the Johnny Fisher. The Johnny Fisher one makes sense. You can take his shots. With Wardley, I don't know if he might just dip down and wang his hand over, and you're on your back. It could. Do you know what I'm saying? And I don't think the money will be as good either, to be honest. And Wardley's number one now in the WBA, I think. So it's not going to be him. But Dave's already said he don't want a Talma. So do you want to end up on another Bum of the Month show? That's where you're going next, Dave. Without Johnny Fisher, you both need each other at this point. But without him, you're going to end up being fish food for Martin Bacoli because no one wants to fight him. Ben Shalom will come along and say, oh, we'll offer you 400 grand, or call it 400 grand to fight Bacoli. Yeah? Or you could take I don't know how much it'll be, but call it 200 or 300 to fight Johnny Fisher. I know what I'm doing all day and night. I don't want there's no amount of money Bacoli can give me. Yeah, he can say, why about I give you $1 million? No, keep that $1 million. I'm taking a 300 grand guaranteed from Johnny Fisher, who can't punch, and who's brand new and his legs are stiff. And he's somewhat small for a heavyweight. That's what I'm taking. But it's up to you.
Whoever else the opportunity may come up against. I think I'm going to get another big fight just to do this against. But I do feel pretty confident in myself. I feel like my old self. But I'm ready to train properly. So I feel good, to be honest. The more I think about the fight, and I've watched it back a few times.
Dave said, "Oh, I'm ready to train properly now." This is something that I don't know. I'm not there. I watch most of his videos, and he hasn't said yet, "I'm back in the gym today." Before he was doing daily videos, "I'm in the gym." I haven't heard him mention the gym, and I guess it's only been 2 weeks. But like I said, the longer you're out of the gym doing nothing, the harder it is to come back. You're much better having a great camp, a few days off, and if you're not doing nothing, get down there for an hour or do something. Do some shadow boxing with some weights or go for a run. Keep it ticking over. Because when you have 2 weeks off, 3 weeks off, you're basically, I hate to break it to you, you're literally more or less back to square one, seriously. If you're serious in a sport and you have 3 weeks off, you'll be gassed when you go back. That's the truth of top level athletes. You'll be completely like, what the hell? I feel like I've never done this before. That's how I'd feel when I dive back in the water after 2 weeks off. I'd feel like, what the... I guess water's different, but cardiovascularly speaking, everything's hard work. It's like, why did I do that for? And that's why a cat like Michael Phelps, he went 8 years and he had maybe 1 day off a year. Christmas Day, I think even allegedly he was training Christmas Day too. That's how serious it is. So, I feel like Dave's got this thing where he's like, yeah... What did he say here?
Properly, so I feel good, to be honest. I feel like my old self, but I'm ready to opportunity may come up against. I think I'm going to get another big fight just to do this against. But I do feel pretty confident in myself. I feel like my old self, but I'm ready to train properly. So I feel good, to be honest.
I feel like my old self, and I'm ready to train properly. This is a mindset, I believe. Again, I don't know. He might be training. I'm really happy if he is. Yeah? But if he's not, you have a good performance here, and then you feel like, oh, yeah, I'm really looking forward to going back to training. And it's almost like you're lying to yourself, because you ain't going to go back anytime. You haven't got it planned. It's like you're looking forward to it. Or you've just performed well, and all that happy chemicals you've got. It's like, yeah, I can't wait. But guess what? You don't execute on it. It's all a feeling. Yeah, I really enjoyed getting in that ring and doing that with Johnny Fisher. I can't wait to get back to training and I feel really good. But then what you do instead is just sit there feeling good. Actually, you're going backwards. Yeah? If you feel good, you hit it now. Because in a month from now, You might go back for a session and be like, oh my god, I've lost all my sharpness. And guess what? You go home and you think, well, actually, I'm not very motivated now because I've lost all my sharpness. All them cool things I could do where I could punch for days and slip and slide for days, that's gone now. It's hard work again now. Hence, I can't get motivated until I get my camp date. That's the cycle you get stuck in. I've been there to some extent myself. And the answer to that is you stay on it. 95% of the time you're on it. Once a day or every other day is better than nothing. Something, consistency is what's important here. Every other day until you've got a fight date is better than nothing. Ideally, every day for an hour is optimal. And if you're not working, I don't understand what you're doing. This is your job. It's not a hard job. Being an athlete is the funniest job you can have, to be honest. It really is. You get to go. Most people go work here and have to squeeze gym in. All you might have to do is go to some form of gym. It's like how fun. You know what I mean? Man, people working 50, 60-hour weeks and fitting gym in around that. It's like, what the fuck are you? What's your excuse? That's all you got to do. Is get your ass there. It's a weird thing. It's a proper weird thing. But historically, there's been loads of lazy athletes. Been loads of them. Just lazy, man. It tends to be, I guess you can argue, the better ones. The ones that have the natural gifts. They can just do that. I remember Mario Balotelli. He was a bit like that. Really gifted, but just lazy. Super lazy. They don't understand the gift they've been given. Most of us, anyone who likes sport, would die to be able to do sport for a living. I would have at the time. If I could have done that and just had to get up and train every day, that was what I loved doing. These man, it's like, oh, they take it for granted, and then you guess what? You'll be 40 and you'll be shit out of luck. Oops. If you haven't made your money. And then you're really in up shit's creek and you really have regret. Oh, I probably shouldn't have sat around the whole of Christmas after a good fight. I probably should have stayed ready. I probably should have called Johnny Fisher out. I probably shouldn't have been so Mahatma Gandhi about it and stuck it right on him. Yeah?
The more I think about the fight, I've watched it back a few times. It was a decent performance. I only had one good fight in 5.5 years against Fraser Clark, and I was terrible. So I thought I did really well. I've watched it a few times now. I was happy with it because I know that's nowhere near my best. But I don't know. I don't know how good Johnny Fisher is. Still don't. I don't know.
So he says again, he's nowhere near his best. Yeah. He's been saying that. Oh, I'm still not fit. I'm still not near my best. I know I can train. Do it then. There's no good talking about it no more. Talking, yeah, and feeling this and feeling that. It's not going to do nothing. It's not going to increase your cardio. It's not going to increase your speed. It's not going to increase your power. It's not going to get your weight down. So all these feels he's got, they're actually, honestly, they're good for nothing. They really are. It's probably a bad thing, actually. If you have a... Well, it depends. People need different motivators. But there are some individuals, yeah, who, on a positive performance, they think, oh, great. A bit like Dave, potentially. Oh, great, yeah. And in the future, I can't wait to get fitter. Rather than starting today. On the flip side, they have a bad performance. And it's like, oh, I can't be arsed now. So you never want to hit it. Because you either had a bad performance and you can't be arsed, or you had a good performance and you're grazing in your glory. Neither outcome leads to getting at it. And hence, every fight, oh, I could have been fitter. Well, you couldn't have been if you'd have been training year round, similar to Usyk. And I know for a fact, Usyk these days, he might take some time off after fights. When he was broke as a joke, he'd have been spark batting that gym like ain't nothing left. He's doing that anyway, more or less. Even at cruiserweight, I bet you any money he'd have a fight and be back there, chasing it, hungry for it. I don't know what's wrong with these a lot of these man. Same with people like Habib and that. Them Habib cats. Just a different way of living. These Western dudes are soft in the main. Like AJ, oh, I'm going to the cabin to get my head straight. You control your mind. Your mind doesn't control you. Yeah? If you want to do a plumber some serious harm, you have to decide to do that. Look at all the man, I don't know, look at in Roman times or Greek times or Ottoman times. Look at them, man. The whole bag of man was ready to go with it. They couldn't wait to get in there. I think I watched a documentary on Caesar. He hated being in Rome. He was out on tour in Germania or Gaul or something for like 10 years. He just loved getting at it. I'm not saying, I think he was known to be on the front lines, or he'd be known to be in there having a go. But Yeah, if you can convince yourself to spend 10 years touring and trying to conquer things, you can get in a fucking boxing ring without having to go to a dark cabin. Just do it. Yeah? Totally ferocious. No back steps. Me or him. How many men do you think died on the battlefield? With real knives, where real things are at risk. A bag of them. Millions of people probably over the years, over the centuries, or millennia, have been stabbed up. What was going through their mind? It can't be as much as little, sorry. What you might have to do. Go in there and hit someone with some padded gloves on. Where you know it's not a case of in a war where, especially in them times, in feudal times when there would be a large percentage of people getting got. Sometimes a whole what would you call it? A whole legion gets wiped out, gets caught slipping. Yeah? You had a high chance of getting clipped in them times. In boxing, what is it? 99.99% of people, maybe 1 in 1,000 at best, gets seriously hurt. They're great odds. Great odds. Totally ferocious. No back steps. This last one here as well.
At the minute. It's a funny one. People say, "It was a brilliant fight. I was fighting all that," but it hit me a few times, and I felt him.
So he's talking about the Fisher fight here.
It's took it out of me. Full of cold as well. Full of cold all week. I've not really slept much, but the fight itself. How hard was the fight? It didn't feel that difficult really. It hit me a few times, and I felt him. The register.
Dave, you was gassed. That's the truth. After that round 5, which you put a good amount of work in, you was gassed, and your 10th round sucked as well, to be honest. So you didn't finish. Given how washed Johnny Fisher was, given how stiff his legs were, you should have done a bigger number on him, to be honest. You wasn't fit. Because bear in mind, the first 4 rounds, you was like a heavy bag, so you weren't... Yeah, it's still tiring, obviously, but you weren't whacking. He whacked himself out. You only had about half a round of doing something, and you was goose for the whole fight, because you're not fit. Yeah? So it's not... I'm tired of Dave Allen saying things like, oh, you hit me, but I couldn't really feel it, or it wasn't a problem. He's not a massive puncher. We've heard that for too long now. It's all well and good being a heavy bag. You've got to hit someone back, though. If you're not really feeling it, you're getting it now. No more leaning your left hand on his neck, just doing that. Dig it. Smack something with it. Don't just post up here and try and old man him. If you want to mix some of that in there so he doesn't know what's coming. Oh, sometimes I rest my left arm on his shoulder, and other times I dig my hook in, whatever, but you just kept doing it. I was like, throw the left hook, man. Throw it. Stop doing that. He just rest his left arm on his shoulder, Johnny Fisher's shoulder. Watch it on YouTube. I feel to try and find it now, but this video has gone on for too long.
But he's a big strong kid. I'm just trying to think how hard the fight was. It went easy, do you know what I mean? But I couldn't never put it in the top 5 in terms of difficulty, really. Because he's just a puncher at the minute. It's a funny one. People say, it was a brilliant fight. I was fighting all that, but I don't know. I just feel like I've got another 10 gears to go through when I get more weight off and more time to train.
So here we go again. Oh, I've got 10 more gears. I think there's something there. It's not going to be the world beater, but he knows that. We all know that. He can beat Johnny Fisher, though, for sure. I believe. I said that before the fight. It's worth a punt at 10-1. One of the only few to say that. That said, no more, I've got 10 more gears to go through. You, Dave, you'll never go through them gears if all you're relying on is even a 12-week camp. Dave was like, oh yes, they've given me 12 weeks. That's not getting you nowhere, though. As you found out, you did 12 weeks, and you're still bulbous. And you're still goosed after 5 rounds. Putting a shift in for half a round. You've got to build it, man. You've got to be on it. Look at all the greats. Even people like AJ's not great, but AJ trains year round. He's been more successful than Dave. Usyk trains year round. To name a few. All the British bums who don't train, Fury, big for nothing. Billy Joe, big, just bulbous. No cardio. No good.
I don't know where I put it. I think I probably put it number 8, maybe. When I'm doing this and thinking of this list, that's 8 fights there. That's 8 fights where they've been really, really hard. The referee, Bob Williams, said to me the other day, like, have a couple more, Dave, and get out. And I looked at him and thought, what the fuck are you on about? But as I was putting this list together, That's some hard fights, I guess. And I'm fucked today. But onwards and upwards.
You have harder fights if you're not fit. You can't move your feet as quick. You can't move your feet as much. You can't move your head at all. You can't keep your hands up. You can't put You see shots, you can't do it because you're just blowing inside. You're like, I'd love to hit that, but I'm so gassed. I just want to keep it tight. Do you know what I'm saying? I do believe there's more levels to Dave. I think he could try and pull off, to be honest. He's a bit wider than Canelo, but he's got that Andy Ruiz Canelo type one. The difference is, obviously Canelo's got more pound for pound power, but Andy Ruiz hasn't. He can't punch with toffee, but he's got the speed Dave doesn't have. But Ruiz can punch combinations. Dave as well. I don't see him throw anything short. They're all kind of whoosh, swinging from his waist. I don't really remember him having a variation of shots. Because at one point, the overhand right, Johnny wasn't falling for it. You got to have a variation. You got to throw some short things in there. They can't all be swingers, and they're knackering as well. When you're swinging back and loading up and whatever else, it's going to make you real tired. Put some short ones in there. Surely. Who knows? Anyway, let me know your thoughts, people. Smash the like button, subscribe, like off the bell, 100%. There's no doubt about this. Some people stop it.